Hello and welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Aaron Porras, and coming up in today's newscast, another deadly terror attack in Israel. An Israeli guard murdered in Judea and Samaria over the weekend and now listed as the 15th fatal victim of terror in a month's time. Meanwhile, the Israeli Mossad spy agency now exposing details of how they prevented Iran from committing a string of assassinations. And finally, alarming new annual reports of anti-Semitic incidents again. The World Zionism Organization joining us with their survey. The month of Ramadan coming to a close, but the spike in terror during this time not ending with it. An Israeli security guard murdered in a terrorist shooting over the weekend while shielding his fiancée from attack. ILTV's Asaf Nissan with the details.
Late Friday night, outside the settlement of Ariel in Judea and Samaria, 23-year-old Israeli guard Vladi Golev murdered by a pair of Palestinian terrorists. The terrorists, who pulled up in a blue Suzuki with stolen Israeli plates, drove up to the city gates where Golev was stationed. They then opened fire on the guard shack with submachine guns, got out of the car, and fired again from point-blank range, killing Golev. Magen David Adom paramedics who later arrived at the scene saying they found Golev unconscious with gunshot wounds and with neither pulse nor breath. Golev, meanwhile, who suffered 3 of at least 10 shots that were fired, was shielding his partner with his own body, and his partner, who was not physically harmed in the attack, later named as Golev's fiancée, Victoria Fliegelman. The two getting engaged just a few weeks ago and posted a photo of themselves together hours before the shooting. As for the terrorists, following their attack, they made a U-turn away from the settlement, ditched and set fire to the car, and fled the scene. But IDF troops still tracking down the two suspects Saturday and detaining them as well as their weapons in a nearby Palestinian town of Karawat Bani Hassan, neither resisting arrests and their homes slated for demolition.
כוחות הביטחון כבר הגיעו אתמול לשני המחבלים כפי שהם ישימו את ידם על כל מחבל.
Further, while the pair not related to any terror groups per se, they did apparently have help. Several relatives suspected of aiding them in carrying out the attack were also arrested, along with additional illegal weapons. And one of the Ariel shooters does have ties to the Hamas terror group, which praised the shooting. Additionally, both men had been previously barred from entering Israel, with one having even served time in Israeli prison.
Now with more on the expanding security concerns, former IDF spokesperson to the international media, Lieutenant Colonel Reserves Jonathan Conricus. Lieutenant Colonel, thank you very much for joining us. Now, starting with the terror in Ariel, is this just an unfortunate event that, slipped through Israeli security, or did Israel relax a little towards the end of the month of Ramadan?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And of course, this is a good opportunity to express condolences to many of the bereaved families in the recent string of terror attacks that Israel has been dealing with. I don't say wave because I don't think that it is a terror attack wave. I think that what we're seeing are several incidents connected together where Arabs, Palestinians, quite spontaneously take weapons and launch terror attacks against Israelis in different parts of Israel, cities, as well as in Judea and Samaria. I don't think that the establishment, the security forces are relaxed. I think that they are on high alert. The IDF has allocated additional troops, mobilized additional troops to Judea and Samaria. And there's also information out that there will be reservists that will be called up for action in order to relieve the regular troops so that they can continue operating in Judea and Samaria towards the end of the Ramadan, but also further away. And you see the level of readiness by the quick response and how relatively short time it took for the Israeli Security Agency, Shabak, the IDF and Israeli police to quickly get their hands on these vile terrorists that perpetrated this attack.
To watch full episodes of ILTV's Israel Daily and tons of other content from Israel, visit our website at iltv.tv or download the ILTV Plus app.